Salem area, it's very scenic. We have a lot of farmland and rolling hills. LM Sugarbush is one of Indiana's largest producers and distributors of pure maple syrup. We have our farm here in Salem, Indiana, and then we also help distribute for our local Amish communities. So all in all, we distribute about 3,000 gallons of pure maple syrup a year. The farm was started in the 70s. So my dad moved here and he noticed that there were a lot of maple trees in this area. And so they tapped a few trees and made a couple of gallons of really dark syrup one year. It's been a producing farm for maple syrup ever since then. And my sister and I and our husbands bought it from them in 2013. We changed the name from Leanne and Michael Sugarbush to LM Sugarbush. And we've continued on pretty much the same as they did. It's in our blood now. It's very addictive. It's a challenge, and there's so much that you can't control, so it's almost like every year is just so unique. The main thing that's unique here is that our maple trees are condensed on about 40 acres of property, and that allows us to use our tubing system. There's some technology that changes with maple syrup making, but most of the equipment that we use here on the farm is from around the time period that the farm was started. So it's stayed pretty rustic and unique. The big thing for us is a wood burning evaporator. So we still have one of the older style wood burning evaporators. We've not switched over to the gas or the diesel like so many other outfits use now. So to make maple syrup, the first thing you need is a grove of maple trees. You want the hard sugar maples because they produce the highest sugar content. After you have your maple trees sorted, you pray for weather. You think you have it figured out what's gonna make the trees run, and then the opposite happens. You start generally getting the right weather conditions down here around Super Bowl, and then you want a prolonged period of time where spring is trying to come, but not quite making it. And once it gets over 55 degrees, the trees start to shut down because it's too hot. So they're very finicky. After we've collected the sap, we'll haul it back into the sugar house where we process it. We use a reverse osmosis machine to take out about 2/3 of the water. It does take 45 to 60 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. So if you see the sap coming out of a tree, a lot of people are shocked because it looks and tastes like very mildly sweet water. So we're just having to boil a ton of water out of the sap in order to make the finished product. So on a day when we collect 5,000 gallons of sap, we think we're doing great, and then we bring it back and process it, and we only end up with a few gallons of syrup at the end. It's a fun time. It's one of my favorite parts of it is boiling. It smells great, you're warm, and it's kind of like the reward for all the work to actually see the finished product. So syrup actually has the widest spectrum of flavors, but it is graded on color and not taste. So the lighter the syrup is the amber rich. What we call the middle of the road, it's a little bit darker, a little bit more flavorful, is dark robust. And then the very darkest is very dark strong taste. In 2019, we made our first bourbon barrel maple syrup. This past year, Angel's Envy was able to give us 4 port barrels that they had had bourbon in less than 24 hours before we picked it up. We filled them with our maple syrup very quickly, and we're just now opening them up to bottle them for the festival. The Maple Syrup Festival is one of the more unique festivals you'll go to. This is our 30th year of doing it. On good years with good weather, we'll have between 10 and 15,000 people show up. We have food, we have music, we have vendors, we have maple syrup, we have educational opportunities. I always say it's like planning 4 weddings on the same location, on the same weekend in the middle of the winter. We also have a cowboy shootout. They set up in our front yard and do 2 shows a day with a lot of gunfire. So it's an interesting combination of things. We've tried to make it super open and welcoming to everybody. And for us, it's not about money. You know, we work our day jobs, we try to be successful in those careers, and we like to make a little bit out here, but it's more the process and having the whole family together and having the community come out to see it at the festival and being proud of the product we produce. I can't ever see us doing anything else.